Hello again, this is the team of Orion Registrar Mexico, and in this video we'll teach you about the marketing documents and how to upload them to Intacct. These are the documents that we will review, in this case for ISO 9001 and ISO 14001. We recommend that you open them on another screen so that you can follow along. Let's begin. This is the company profile. Your client must complete this format. If they send you incomplete information, it is up to you to fill the gaps. In the top section, they must fill in the organization's information and management representative. Next, they have to tick the boxes for the standard or standards that will be audited. Then, they will indicate how they learned about Orion. Then, they must write the general company information, the activities that the organization performs, in this case education, their key processes, whether they have outsourced processes, and if ITAR and International Arms Traffic Regulations is applicable. In number 7, your client must write if they have any security restrictions, such as a high voltage area. In number 8, they will write if they have any other certification, which organization granted the certificate, and the certification period. They must also attach a copy of their certificate. Then they must indicate if they have any other facilities that will be certified. If the answer is yes, they must answer questions A through C. In number 10, the clients must complete the chart for the facility or facilities that will be certified, including the location, number of employees, and hours of operation for each one. They must also include their shifts and hours. Number 11 is about the languages used at the facilities. In number 12, they will indicate if they have any temporary sites. Please keep in mind that if it's a construction company, the answer must always be yes. Next, they must indicate the percentage of implementation of the system, which is generally 100%. This means that they are ready for the audits. In number 14, they have to declare if they received consulting services from another company. If so, they must write the name of the consultant. Next, they'll indicate their preferred dates for the audit, and if they'd like the surveillance interval to be annual or semi-annual. In number 17, they must write their sector codes. If they leave this space blank, refer to MP04 and select their sector. Question 18 must be filled if they want to have more than one standard certified. If they will certify only one, they can leave it blank. In question 19, they must indicate non-applicable clause for each standard, but only if applicable. Next, let's look at the specific standard certification questions. Your client must fill in the sections for each standard that will be audited. In the case of ISO 14001, it is important that they describe the 3 most important aspects, objectives, and impacts of their system, which must correspond with the audit report. In this example, we left out the objectives. Remember, the objectives must be SMART: specific, measurable, assignable, realistic, and time-related. Now, let's move on to a new document, the Audit Time Worksheet. In this case, you will be in charge of filling this form. This is fairly simple. Just fill in the applicable boxes. The most important aspect of this document are the reductions in time, if there are any. Use the chart below to guide you to make the reductions and additions. Look at our example for a moment. If you decide to include an addition or reduction, write a detailed justification in the comment section. The percentages for the reductions can only go as high as indicated by MP02. In this chart, determine the effective number of employees, depending on how many production employees and administrative employees the company has. This information is obtained from the company profile. Pay close attention to the red rectangles. Remember, it is optional to reduce the number of employees. For the next part, location in audit time chart, refer to the IAF MD5 tables, which you can find in MP04, and decide whether to maintain the bracket, move to the higher bracket, or to the lower bracket. Next, to determine the audit time, you must use the aforementioned charts, which will indicate you the S1, S2 times, the surveillance time, and certification time. For upgrade audits, for the case of 9001 and 14001, half a day will be audited for surveillances, and for recertification it stays the same. At the end, write the name of the person who calculated the audit time and the person who approved it. Then we have the audit time worksheet, but in this case for ISO 14001. The calculation of the audit time for ISO 14001 is done in the same way as ISO 9001. However, don't forget to use the chart for ISO 14001, not ISO 9001. Continue filling out the rest of the worksheet in a similar fashion as with 9001. Now, let's look at the integrated audit time worksheet. Once we have the audit time for all the standards that will be audited, you must use this integrated worksheet. Simply follow the instructions detailed in the document and use the formula it provides. Next, let's look at the contract review and setup sheet. In the first section of this form, select the standards and codes to be certified. Follow the instructions and fill the necessary information. The most essential parts are the key processes and the specific standards information section. You have to make sure that this is congruent with the audit report. The most important part are the key processes and applicable PAWs, which must correspond to the ones in the audit report. Now, let's move on to a different topic. We'll show you how to upload these marketing documents to Intacct. First, access Citrix the way we taught you in the other video. Now open the location of the files. This depends on where you saved it. One by one, drag and drop the files onto the drag-drop icon. A window will appear. Click Attribute Now. Then this window will show up. Write the activity ID, which you will find in the transmittal for audit report. Click Retrieve, and the information will appear in the rectangle. Select the document type, in this case marketing, and then in definition, select which document you are uploading. Each partner have their own quote form, which must also be uploaded here. Finally, save the changes. You have to repeat this process for each marketing document, so it may take a while. Well done! You have learned how to fill in the marketing documents and how to upload them to Intacct.